सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Yesterday we have seen the entire background of this 12th chapter, and thus we were blessed to have some idea about our Veda Samskriti, Sanatana Dharma in whole we have seen. And I was telling you that this 12th chapter happens to be a topic wherein we try to understand, wherein a great scope is there to learn about our culture. That's why I called it entire Veda Sara. It is the quintessence of all the Vedas is found in this 12th chapter. And this chapter begins with a question of Arjuna. And what is that question? He says, he is asking Krishna, Evam sadata yuktaye bhaktyastvam paryupasate echapi aksharam avyaktam teshanke yogavittamaha. O Lord, who is superior? Is a Saguna Bhakta who worships Bhagavan with form, God with form. Is he great? Or I know a group of people who call themselves Vedantins, who follow the Vedanta portion of Veda, the Anta portion, the philosophical portion of Veda, wherein the Brahman is taught, Brahman is attempted for the study. People study that Brahman, Aksharam it is called, Aksharam, Naksharanti, which is not subjected to destruction. Aksharam. So, cha api aksharam avyaktam tesham. So, between these two fellows, Saguna and Nirguna aspects, between these two people, who is great? If you tell me categorically who is great, I will follow that, and thus I will become great. I will achieve the Moksha. I will achieve the Paramapurushartha. So this is the question. And this question is there in every mind. Everyone generally asks this question. Shall I worship God with form, or shall I try to meditate upon that formless God? And yesterday I was telling you that a choice is possible between two things of same utility, not between two things which don't have the same utility. Do you want tea or coffee? There is a choice. Do you want tea or coffee? Lakshmi Garu, do you want tea or coffee? Enna vendum? Sir. Right now nothing, but just tell me. Who is there to give you? Do you want tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Coffee. She can say like that. If I ask her, do you want coffee or glass? Hey, there is no choice. Both I want. Do you want coffee or tumbler? Enna vendum? Coffee venduma, tumbler venduma?
Choice.
Two are required, no choice there. Between tea and coffee you have choice, but between coffee and tumbler you don't have any choice. Like that, between Saguna and Nirguna aspects, what shall I opt? You should not opt anything. Because one is the way, one is the goal. Saguna is the way, Nirguna is the goal. That is Sadhya and Sadhanam. Sadhya, the goal is Nirguna Ishvara Eva. But for that, you need a means. That means is Saguna. So everyone, irrespective of their color, caste, creed, religion, etc., they have to follow Saguna and thus graduate into Nirguna. That is the scheme of Veda. But our Krishna slowly gives an answer which is highly confusing, and an answer which generally the Saguna Bhaktas try to exaggerate and thus dismiss all Vedantins. And what is that answer? He says, let us see. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Mayyaveshya mano ye mam Nitya yukta upasate Shraddhaya parayopetah Te me yukta tamamatah. So Bhagavan says that Mayi aveshya manaha ye mam nitya yukta upasate shraddhaya parayopetaha te yuktatama me mataha. According to me, O Arjuna, those whose mind is in me, those who are all the time mentally associated with me, entertaining my thoughts and nitya yuktaha, all the time with me, they are great. Yuktatama is a superlative degree he uses, that they are greatest. Now this is a very confusing statement. And Krishna's words, unless they are studied, properly deciphered in the light of Veda, they will give all wrong notions. Because we don't know how to arrive at a tatparyam. Tatparya grahanam, getting the bottom line, is very difficult. Ordinary mind cannot do that. If I have to get to a bottom line of some physics problem, only in the light of physics that is to be resolved. If I have some problem regarding some chemistry, only in the light of chemistry it is to be resolved. If I have some problem with political situation, only through that angle it is to be resolved, not by any other method. Like that, if I find a statement wherein Bhagavan is contradicting Veda, he is contradicting Veda now. The Krishna, as he is saying that devotee, Saguna, Ishvara, Upasaka is the greatest. When he says Saguna fellow is greatest, that means Nirguna fellow is not that great. And this is the greatest weapon for all these people to combat, to run, to face, to argue, to dismiss Vedanta Shastra. But Veda says, only Jnanam eva Uttamam. Not only the Veda, this very mischievous Krishna says that. What he says? Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. In this world there is nothing more glorious than jnana. Nahi jnanena sadrisham. Like jnanam there is no pure thing, no great thing. So jnana is the greatest, he himself says. Now he says this. So now I have to go to Veda, and in the light of Veda I have to see and understand what he says. There is one nyaya called Nahininda Nyayam. That we also often use that. Nahininda Nyayam. We don't know the name of it. Without knowing the name, we do use it. And there are statements called Arthavada statements, Arthavada Vakyams, wherein when you will glorify a certain thing, knowing fully well that it is not that greatest. You will glorify, knowing well that that is not greatest. You have to do. When particularly your child wants something and you cannot afford, he wants some small aeroplane, but you cannot afford. Even if you can afford, you cannot maintain. You may buy the aeroplane, but you cannot maintain that. So what we will do then at that time? We know that aeroplane is great, we know all this great, but we will glorify unnecessarily a small toy. Understand? So father and mother sit together with the baby, the kid, and glorify the toy so much, that slowly the baby it will start thinking that maybe this is great. Because for every small baby, a kid, mother and father are the hero and the heroine of the show. Whole world. That's why whenever two children fight, generally the fight is because of only one thing. My father is great, my father is great. That's all. That means what? In the eyes of children, the father, the mother is great. Of course, when they grow up, they will realize the mistake. Okay? That is any of them. But at that time, and this father and mother says, it is great, it is great, it is great, the child will opt for it. He will buy some small helicopter or something with some remote, it also flies in the air. But though you glorify while you are glorifying also, you know for certain that it is not the greatest. But you have to do for that child. Like that now Arjuna is asking a question. And if Bhagavan says Nirgunam is great, he can never attain to that. So first we have to glorify the means, not the end. And means is to be glorified in such a way that you should present it as the end for some time. We Telugu people do that. పదో తరగతి ఒక్కటి చదువురా చాలు, లైఫ్ ఇంకేమీ అక్కర్లే లేదంటారు. If you complete this 10th class, no need to see back. Life is all easy. But all tragedy begins there. After that they will say intermediate 2 more years. If you can control yourself, if you can get a good mark in intermediate, okay, I got, then what? Begins another crucial mode. But we know all that is there. Still you have to glorify small means you make the end. Now Arjuna is asking a question. Oh Lord, shall I go to Nirguna or shall I go to Saguna? And whoever asks this question, you have to tell that he has to go to Saguna. Because a man who is capable for Nirguna will never ask, shall I vote for that or this? I give one example for this every time I take this shloka. There comes a fellow to you and shows you a newspaper wherein one advertisement is there. 2 vacancies in a bank or some firm. One is for bank manager, one is for manager, one is for peon. If he asks you, sir, to what job shall I apply? Then what is that you have to say? Blindly you say, apply for peon job. Why? That fellow who is capable for bank manager post will not come and ask you. That's the logic. He won't ask. Like that, a man who is already qualified for Nirgunam Brahma will not ask God, shall I vote for Saguna or Nirguna? His very asking shows that he is not capable for that. If he is not capable, and if I unnecessarily glorify that, what will happen? He realizes his inability to reach that, and that realization will stop him from progressing. He won't even tread the path. So God says, whoever does Saguna Upasana, they are great. And immediately he uses another logic. That's why he is very mischievous person. He says, Saguna Bhakta is very great, but Nirguna Bhakta reach me. Saguna Bhakta is very great, but the Nirguna Upasaka will reach me. What does it mean? So he is trying to convey that both are important. And he gives another beautiful thing, that Shraddhaya. The Saguna Bhakti, what you and I think, that worshipping an idol is not Saguna Bhakti. It is Shraddha. When you see the idol, you should see the God at the same time. That is called Vigraharadhana, that is called Saguna Bhakti. So you are not seeing some stone or something. You have to see during your puja, because you do avahanam. You are inviting Bhagavan to that place. So you need to conduct yourself. You need to behave as if God is really there. Of course he is everywhere. So you have invoked him. That is called avahanam. Avahito bhava, sthiro bhava. Then you give asanam, etc. Not to the idol, but to the Lord himself. But where is that feeling? No Shraddha. We have no Shraddha at all. We have no realization of that, nor an understanding of it. So that is very, very important. So he uses that word Shraddhaya, whoever. And what Shraddha? Paraya Shraddha, the greatest Shraddha this fellow should have. So then he is considered great. But it's not that the Advaita fellow is less. Then he brings all that. So here I would like to present to you the entire Vedic structure. Because the Bhakta feels that Bhakti is something different. And Vedanta is something different. Karma Yoga is something different. Jnana Yoga is something different. And there exists one Bhakti Yoga, people are thinking like that.